Okay, so 6.4c. Do you see how we've kind of been stuck on 6.4? We did 6.4a, 6.4b, 6.4c. This is all lesson 6.4 in the book, but each letter is a different day we're spending on it. We're spending this whole week on factoring. Okay, I know that sounds like a lot, but there's still actually at least 2 more types of factoring that we need to talk about that you haven't done in IM2. So 6.4c, again, we are factoring using the snowflake or the super x. We are factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So starting off, 50x squared minus 60x plus 18. What is the first step we always need to have? Always, always check for GCF first. GCF first. So, what do these 3 terms have in common? Well, let me look at 18, because I know 18 is divisible by 9. Is 60 divisible by 9? No, so that's not going to work. What about 2? 2? Let's take out a 2 and see if that's enough. If I take out a 2, what does that leave me with? 25x squared, what? Minus 30x plus 9. Now, the 2 is a big enough number to take out if those don't have anything in common. Do they have anything in common? Okay, so I know my 2 is good. So now I'm going to do my snowflake or my super x. And what's going to go on top? 25 times 9. 25 times 9. What's 25 times 9? What's 9 quarters? 225? And what's going to go on the bottom? Negative 30. 2 numbers that multiply to get 225 and add to get negative 30. Negative 15 and negative 15. What goes on the top here? This is different than yesterday. Yes, question.
Why didn't you simplify?
Why did I do what?
Like leave, because isn't 25 or aren't they divisible? Oh, I'm tripping.
They're both squares, which makes you think that they're divisible by the same thing, but it's just 5 squared and 3 squared.
Okay.
They're not divisible by the same thing.
All right.
Yeah. What do I put up here? 25x and 25x. What does this reduce to? If it reduced like a fraction, 5x over negative 3, right? Just like a fraction. Same thing on the other side. What does that tell me if both of those reduce to the same thing? The parentheses are going to be the same. So in other words, I have a 2 out in front. I have 5x minus 3, and I have 5x minus 3, but we don't want to write it like that. We want to write 2 parentheses 5x minus 3 squared is how we want to write our answer. So? Same stuff as you would expect, right? Those were kind of big numbers, but that's okay. 16m to the second minus 4. This one only has 2 terms. What does that mean? What does that mean about this guy? There's no b, which means it is 0. So I can set up my snowflake if I want to. Or I could use my shortcut if you know your difference of squares shortcut. But b is going to be 0. What goes on the top? 16 times negative 4. Thank you. Totally forgot GCF. Take out that 4. What's left? 4m squared minus 1. What would happen if I didn't take out my GCF? It would be wrong, but how would I know it was wrong? Let me continue the way I was going. Just watch for a minute, and I'll show you how I would be able to tell. So if I did 16 times negative 4, That would give me negative 64. And two numbers that multiply to get negative 64 and add to get 0 would be 8 and negative 8, correct? And then I would have 16m and 16m. And this reduces to 2m over negative, hang on, I'm dividing by 4. No, dividing by 8. Yeah? 2m over 1, negative 1. So that gives me 2m minus 1 times 2m minus 1. Now, that's if I didn't take out a common factor, right? What is 2m times 2m? Is that going to get me 16m squared? No. So that tells me that there was something wrong. What happens is if I don't do that, that extra factor gets lost in this reducing step. Okay? So that was the wrong way to go. I want to go this way. So let's see. 4 times negative 1 on the top is negative 4. What are my two numbers? 2 and negative 2. And I write 4m and 4m. Those reduce to, sorry, one of those was a plus, wasn't it? That one was. 2m over negative 1 and 2m over positive 1. So I still have that 2m minus 1 and 2m plus 1, but with the 4 outside, now I'll be able to get to the 16 like I need. So how do I write my answer? 4 parentheses, 2m plus 1, and 2m minus 1. Now, how did I know that this problem here was a difference of squares? You know square numbers? What are square numbers? 1 squared is 1. Numbers that you get by squaring something, right? 16 would be the next one, then 25, 36, 49, etc. I recognize, even in the first step, that this is a square number because it's 4 squared, and this is a square number because it's 2 squared. When I take out something in common, I still have a square number, that's 2 squared, and a square number, that's 1 squared. If this is 2 squared, do you see where the 2 ended up in my answer? And if this is 1 squared, the 1 ended up there. 1's a plus, 1's a minus. There is a shortcut you can take if you remember the difference of squares rule. Okay? So for example, if I had 9x squared minus 36. By the way, this only works if that is a minus sign. Has to be a minus sign, otherwise it doesn't work. But if I had that, first off, actually that's a bad example. Let's make this 49, because I don't want a GCF in this case. If I did my difference of squares shortcut, what number when you square it gives you 9?
3.
So 3 goes here and here, along with an x. What number when you square it gives you 49?
7.
Make one a plus and one a minus, and so super fast you can get to your answer. You don't have to go through the whole snowflake. But the snowflake does work if you don't want to learn an extra step or an extra thing to remember. Okay? All right, number 3. You try this one. (7f squared plus 12f plus 5). Take a minute and try that one. Is this one easy or hard? Okay. I have 35 on top from 7 times 5. I have 12 on the bottom. What are my two numbers that multiply to get 35 and add to get 12? 7 and 5. Well, that's easy because they were in the problem, weren't they? F and F with the 7, right? So what does 7F over 7 reduce to? F over 1 or 1F over 1. Does 7F over 5 reduce?
No.
So those are going to be my two parentheses. So one of them is F plus 1. The other one is 7F plus 5. So? All right, I got two more. 10n to the third plus 6n squared minus 16n. And I'm going to go ahead and give you number 5 also. I want you to try 4 and 5, the last two problems. Remember to check for GCF first. 30wx squared minus 56wx plus 24w. Okay, so take a minute and see what you can do with those guys. Is that the correct first step for number 4?
Yes.
Okay. Is that what you got for number 4?
Yes.
Awesome. I know a W can come out. What comes out from 30, 56, and 24?
2.
Just a 2? Okay. Leaves me with 15x squared minus 28x plus 12, right? Those are still big numbers. I wish I could take out something bigger than 2, but... All right, looks like big numbers here. 15 times 12, 180, and negative 28. Well, at least it's 18 and 10, right? At least that came kind of quickly. 15x and 15x. So what does 15x over negative 18 reduce to? I can divide by 3. 5x over negative 6, right?
Yes.
So that'll be one parentheses. Over here, 15x over negative 10, that will reduce to 3x over negative 2, and that'll be my other one. Now, let me show you what a very common mistake is. People will do this, 5x minus 6, and 3x minus 2, and they will box that as their answer. What is the mistake there? You can't forget about what you factored in the first step. Got to make sure to include that guy. Because if you don't, you have 5x times 3x, which would give you 15x squared, and that doesn't fit, does it? So you have to include that guy. Make sense? All right. Your homework is on Google Classroom, so you have a good chunk of time to be able to get started on that. All right? Happy studying.